up a seat to the bar and join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tansen, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk. Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 13.27, Murphyonic Mayhem, where we are covering the novel Deadbeat. My name is Tansen, and I'm joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
Guten Tag.
Yeah. Just a quick announcement that there will be no episode airing next week. We'll be back on November 22nd. As a bonus, we're opening up some of our Patreon content to the public, so head on down to patreon.com/freeflowrambling to get this week's content for free.
Thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us keep doing what we're doing. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling.
Chapter 36. Harry and Butters make a pit stop at a Radio Shack for a GPS. They use the mystery numbers in the GPS to make their way to the Field Museum and find the Word of Kemmler. Harry is ambushed by Grevane and Liver Spots, who take the word. It is revealed that Liver Spots is Quintus Cassius, former knight of the Denarians, who is bent on revenge upon Harry.
Okay, where are they?
Chicago.
More specific.
The Beetle.
No.
They're quite close to the Cook County Hospital, a Radio Shack nearby.
Radio Shack! Woo! This book came out early 2000s. Woo!
Radio Shack still existed.
I wonder if is it still there in the States? I know it's pretty much gone here. It's been replaced by The Source.
I'm pretty sure it's been, bankrupted 4 times in Canada. I had assumed all of North America, but maybe it still exists in the States.
I remember that store being so fucking cool.
Right.
I was like, it has everything.
Right, it was. For its time, Radio Shack was the place.
I just hear the word Radio Shack, and I just think of the movie Summer School, and, that's it.
That was a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Radio Shack.
And not in
Radio
black and
Shack,
white.
baby. Sorry. No, I just feel like singing now.
Yeah, I just remember one time telling Kenzie was...
This is, again, I get it. Hindsight, maybe I'm not that clever, but for me, longitude and latitude coordinates was what I thought of right away. When else do you see a long string of numbers anywhere ever? And especially X marks the spot. This guy hid treasure he's trying to find.
Those of us born in the Radio Shack age... No, this was maybe not the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, but you can even put that on a map, like a paper map.
You can, but
Why would latitude and longitude be more common to see now than back then?
because GPS now and geocaching now. I did not go around finding things by longitude and latitude. Yeah, I read a map. I was not a fucking seaman, okay? I was not doing longitude and latitude on a map. I would be, there's 4th Street, there's 17th Avenue.
She said seaman.
You're waiting
I beat you too, and you were going to say it.
Thank you, Travis and Laura.
I get to be Travis.
Well, you do have the mustache for it.
All right, a podcast done. I'm leaving. I'm going home.
Thank you.
Can you just unplug her microphone? That's uncalled for. We don't need anything else from her.
Fade out.
If I just have
sober. So I think that, your whole geocaching, GPS, people do this for fun now. I'm not saying nobody ever would have thought about it, but I feel like it's more, because you drop a pin now and exactly it comes up with the latitude and longitude, and then you just drop it in and it tells you what street and avenue to go to, right? But
I think when I turned the page and I was like, did they not discuss it even? Like that? I thought it was kind of a little bit.
It seems way too simple. And again, I get hindsight, but this one for me is just a string of numbers. There's only like credit card number, latitude and longitude, a password. Like those are the three big main ones for a random string of numbers.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, some of it would be context, right? Like, I'm sure there are a lot of people who did.
Yeah, every clue in the world is difficult to understand until you figure it out, and you're like, oh shit, right, it was staring me in the face. But
Hindsight's always 20.
I get it, but I still feel like, come on now.
Yeah. And it's a little bit one of the, because I feel that way a lot. Like I said, I don't specifically remember this one or not. Honestly, I don't.
Wizards in plain sight, they don't know GPSs exist. Okay, I get it, but.
Yeah, I think I was just going to say that, right? Like lots of times, exactly like some of these things, you'd be like, it's so obvious, it's this and this and this, whereas other people are like, I never, right? So again, right, it just does, I'm sure, your sort of mindset, your experience, whatever, as to, because I don't know that I do specifically remember thinking in those terms, but the things that exactly make you more like a safe and stuff like that, right? All that made more sense, and we know he's sort of pressing the issue about the wizards, but I think, again, a lot of us, that red herring was the USB or whatever, right? That you had to get to that. Not that more of the numbers were also wizard proof kind of a thing. And yeah, I mean, again, there's that typical, like, you want to make it difficult for people to figure out, but you also want to have it somewhat easy for people to figure out so they can. So,
but. Yeah, I mean, this is really only ever going to stump a wizard because, like, I just feel like, had Murph been here, Murph would have been all over this shit. Michael would have been all over this shit. And even Butters, what the hell are you doing, man? I'm going to blame it on the stress of the last few days because, I don't know, it just seems unforgivable to me.
Well, forget that. So, yeah, you can give Butters and them. I mean, again, like you say, if you're not thinking directionally, you're never going to come up with that, right? But did they not enlist Bob for some of this? Was that not what Harry and Thomas and Bob were left to sit around and figure out?
Bob be Google Maps. Like, I should be able to be like,
not right.
Bob, where is 11112222? And Bob should be like, it's a McDonald's on 5th Street. And I'm like, thanks, bro.
Right? Like, again, a certain amount of fine. Bob is still a quote-unquote person. Maybe he needs content. But that's the whole thing. I'm like, you'd think he would have had, right, latitude and stuff in there in his encyclopedia.
Every time you've ever stored, you're like 1085, 642. You should be like, well, I've got it for this location by the river. I've got it for this password and.
Right, exactly. If you'd be like, well, it could be used for a password or a safe for this, Bob, you think that would be, going down the list, Bob would be like, hey, you know what, that's really common. That's how many numbers we use typically for latitude and longitude, right? Like, pi is typically cut off at this point, even though it can be, right?
Pie is tasty.
Mm-hmm. So good, right? But, exactly, yeah, you'd think like.
And it is the season for pie.
It is.
They have a really cute moment breaking in, I like watching Butter be tempted to the dark side, okay?
It's fun. He goes, like, literally from, like, freaking out to, like, ooh, we can get this, we can get this, we can get this.
Need more batteries?
Should we just go back for the expansion pack?
Do you see any keys that shatter? Oh, yeah, right, burglary, I forgot.
Right.
It's okay. We're doing this for good, and we're secret champions of the city.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get it, but honestly, like, looking for the key would have been nicer, because as somebody who's been, like, when people come to rob you and shit like that, and they're just very nice and polite about it, like, hey, I'm really sorry about this, but you have to give me the shit. It's like, all right, thanks for not being scary about it. Now I don't have to repair my door or fix any of this shit.
I was going to say, it does suck for the person that's got to clean, especially glass, right, all over everything.
I just love how casually you throw out being robbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, so
this is things we don't talk about in front of Mom.
But if people shatter glass, you have to repair that. You have to pay to have it repaired. I work for 7-Eleven, okay? They can repair that shit all the time, but like,
and you gotta
and Radio Shack probably can too. But yeah, like it's always like mom and pop stores that are like, we cannot afford to keep fixing the window. Please stop.
Bob, right? This is Bach's problem right here. Can you stop shattering? I gotta put kids in college, okay? But I like how even though this is his first time, Butters is still conscientious enough and not panicked, present in the moment to only touch what he needs. Just picks up the GPS and he just picks up the batteries, and then Harry's like, I don't gotta waste time wiping down fingerprints. Cool.
It's kind of sad for Boney Tony, though, who had this insurance for himself, and it didn't matter because it never even occurred to them that he might have insurance, so he still died anyways. Because I'm sure he would have given up the insurance for his life. But he didn't even realize that was a possibility. He just thought, like, well, the dude will obviously ask me first, and he didn't. Grevane just killed him right away and was like, oh, wait.
I mean, it's anybody dealing in the business, though. I'm sure it's not. But yeah, that was, again, Grevane's hubris in that, too, right? Because while he might have thought there was insurance, he never thought it would be something he couldn't, you know?
Why didn't Grevane raise him from the dead and just ask Bony Tony? What was the story there? Do we?
Because I think, because they ran him over. Yeah, I think just not an opportunity. They ran him over in the middle of the street or whatever, and then he got picked up and taken to the mortuary. So that's probably what they were going to. Well, I guess maybe not, because they wanted Butters, not Bony Tony.
I mean, the more wise choice would have been bring Bony Tony back from the dead and just ask him.
You're right. that is a really good. Maybe he just figured he'd be even more spiteful.
Probably can't go back
point.
to the morgue after how many times they trashed it.
No, but I think. Well, I would say, why didn't you just show up at when they showed up at the morgue instead of going after Butters? Unless they just thought it had already been done. But yeah, they could have just.
And Bony Tony might have just come up like fingers up and been like, "Fuck you again, bitch."
I was just gonna say though, yeah, Grevane might have been like, "Well, he's not gonna tell me anything. I just fucking killed him." You know, he's I'm like, I might be able to make him walk and throw things around, but I can't make him talk to me. That is a very good question of why.
Because I think they're compelled to listen to whoever raises them too.
Well, just
I got that
obviously they're controlling them, right? Yeah, if they're gonna make you, if Phil's gonna be like, sure, let me go murder Butters.
Good thing they don't know about Mort.
Be just as compelled to, sure, let me just tell you all the shit I know, but. Yeah, because I was thinking,
book over, done.
There's a difference, though, of a bunch of Confederate soldiers being risen and being told, like, hey, that guy's your general, and them all being like, okay, and then raising a guy who's like, hey, that guy who murdered you yesterday, listen to him now. Like,
yeah. Although, I think actually, because I have kind of thought this out before, now that I'm thinking about it, but I think maybe it was partly that he needed Butters to be, like, as a non-magical, right? So if they raised Bony Tony could still have fucked up. Because now he was all magically induced or whatever. He could have fucked up the USB or the thingy, and maybe that's why they wanted Butters. Because at this point, they're like, okay, Butters can go into the court.
Because the pure human.
Yeah, if we reanimate him, he's going to zap his own information or whatever. Or at the very least, even if that information is good, he can't. Right, I can't retrieve it because I'm magical, and I can't get Bony Tony to retrieve me for it because now he's a magical. So they still needed plain Jane mortal Butters, right? Now that they knew it was wizard proof, they're like, okay, well, it doesn't fucking, right? And they just assumed that, yeah, he'd pick his pockets and figure, I don't think, yeah, they were expecting that extra layer. But I think that was my reasoning before on why they didn't just.
I don't like it very much, but we'll move on anyways.
That's okay, you're a boy, what do you know?
I do like that Butters does, like I said before, how he makes up these weird words, has made up another one, the Murphyonic field.
Right.
I just appreciate it a lot. Let's make this sound very technical, even though it's really...
That's science, okay?
Hey, Murphy's Law is, okay? It is about as irrefutable as... Occam's razor? Yes. We'll just each say each other's words.
Wow, you too good.
I smell burnt toast.
Toast. But yeah, I mean, it's true. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? It is about as irrefutable as gravity and the laws of thermodynamics and whatever physics shit is out there, right? So he's just, giving it a name. He's not... It's real.
Brave new frontier. It's cool.
Yeah. Here's what I don't understand. When they eventually pull over and they try to make the GPS work, and it's not working because the whole city's under magical bullshit, and Harry makes a circle around Butters, and he's like, Butters, activate it, and that's all cool. Butters is all proud of himself, whatever. It's weird to think that you can just make a circle within a circle within a circle within a circle, as long as you're just like, this one's mine, fuck the rest of your magic. It's like, I feel like if the Earl King had just drawn another circle inside a circle, and he was like, all right, bitch, now I'll do power again inside my circle, fuck your circle.
Now I'm out season.
My circle now, I'm gonna leave, bye.
Okay, so the thing is, though, that when he brought him in, he can't do all the physical thingy, and he didn't bring him, so the Earl King had no chalk to draw himself a circle in the
I'm sure it's one of those, like, human magic only. We get to do whatever the fuck we want against human magic. We're not bound to the same laws of whatever. But I still think it's a little bit unfair to be like, okay, you put, like, basically a circle around all of the city of Chicago. Well, I'm making my own circle. Fuck you.
Just cutting out a little.
Yeah, this is my circle.
I mean, it's so it's raining over the entire city, but you can, like, pop up an umbrella,
Okay, but part of the storm is part of the magic that's bad. Like,
yes, that is.
Environmental
this
factors.
is evil rain.
That is a kind of. Well, we don't.
Bad juju.
We don't know that they necessarily drew a circle around Chicago to do it, because we've seen Harry.
No, I don't think that they did draw a circle, but
to hex the power system, so that's why. Maybe if they had, maybe that's their problem. If they had just fun a duck in circle.
Exactly. We know Cowell ran around doing subtle magic to all sorts of things. He wasn't even going to start listing. He was just like,
Yeah. It's
I did awesome
He
shit,
just
okay?
hexed all the
Awesome
power
shit.
grids. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to use that. But probably he couldn't because that they needed Circle to summon the Earl King anyways.
So Butters does manage to enact a circle
didn't
around
work.
himself, which is very cool.
Oh, it worked.
Butters, I mean, it's one of those small things we've had it like basically every chapter that Butters is in, but this one small tiny win, and you're like, yeah, Butters, woo!
Woohoo, exactly right.
You're in it to win it.
Every little win.
And it does give us a piece of evidence that a non-magical person can enact a spell.
Yeah, anyone can do this.
Anyone's got some talent, some way, somehow. Humans are just,
Add some salt. Add some chalk. You're good.
do it. And some blood.
Just will.
Don't forget
just
that
intent.
blood.
Just picture your big brick wall. Not that will actually work anything like a big brick wall because they can still throw bricks at you, but magically you are.
So they go through this cycle of traveling, drawing a circle, checking the GPS, traveling, circle, GPS, until they figure out that it's the field museum that they have to be at. Here he parks his car in that non-parking spot.
Right.
Scoffs gently to himself. Fuck you, non-parking. Ha.
Freight. So satisfying. Defy municipal code. So
Should we go back and steal the subscription version now?
I know this, but he's like, oh yeah, it'll tell us, like, because streets and avenues, sure. Oh no, wait, that's the other one. one little burglary and you've gone habitual. But I mean, see, this is exactly what Harry was talking about with Lashiel, right? You get that one little
taste.
we already stole a $500 GPS. What's another $25 expansion pack for it? Come on, Harry. Like, what? Although it was funny him mocking him for it too. Like, Harry's like, oh, are those it? Like, can't you see? Like, Harry's like, hello, the whole fucking point is I don't know what these are. You're like, I didn't even know they exist. Oh, yeah, right. And I like whatever, I don't know, time, picture, whatever. But the Butters went with, like, the nice $500 model.
There probably
and then
wasn't
it
a
still
lot of
didn't quite-
options.
I'm sure there was a few, but I mean, yeah, did you just decide, okay, well, I'm definitely going to start doing the cheap one in here, so I might as well go for the... Right.
So there was probably a really shitty one, just shattered the glass and like, ooh, shiny.
What year did this one come out? This was a
2006.
3 or 6?
2006 or 2007.
We probably would have had smartphones by then. Smartphones.
Just barely.
The iPhone 1 would have...
I went into middle school in 2009, and there was not yet a smartphone. So probably smartphones were like 2011, 2012 for like everyone's got one.
Jeez. Have they only been around
I
for,
remember
like 12
2008.
years?
My friend actually, I think it was 2008, she won an iPhone in a radio competition.
You
and
just didn't
nobody
have a
else
smartphone
had
at
one.
that age.
It's possible.
All I could afford for you was
I
the
get
one
that.
you lost in your
I just don't think that there was like a lot of options back then. It was like all phones were the same, basically. They all kind of evolved at the same
They're all
time.
flippy or a Nokia.
My very first phone was a slide-out full keyboard. And the very next one, smartphone.
God damn it. Crazy.
So
baby.
it definitely wouldn't be as easier to...
But GPSs, I think, were a little bit ahead of smartphones, honestly.
Well, you heard him. Harry only knows about him because they made such a big deal about him in Desert Storm. That was the 90s, folks.
Yep. All right.
So-
So we're back to the Field Museum. Very popular place in the book.
And they walk in, and there's Sue. And I don't know if this is just for ease, or if Butter just dropped the ball, or is being a little bit lazy. But I mean, the movie is fine. The movie was the movie, and it's funny and it's cool. And I'm not gonna nitpick. But here, she was not in all her Jurassic glory because T-Rexes didn't exist in the Jurassic period. They came after the Jurassic period. Okay. In my defense, I was just at the Royal Tyrrell Museum like 3 weeks ago. Okay, so I was literally at the dinosaur. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't remember it. I was just at the dinosaur museum. Okay.
Paleolithic... No, wait, that's not it either.
Cretaceous, I think. I
Cretaceous.
think it was the late Cretaceous period, which was which was still part of like the Mesozoic. Like I think the Jurassic was part of the Mesozoic era.
Listen
but
us
the
just
Cretaceous-
say all these words that sound fancy.
So they found fancy Murphyonic.
Either way.
But anyways, just gonna throw that out
Mislabeled.
there, Butcher. That in your field museum with this.
We're gonna blame Jurassic Park for this, so yeah.
It is, and I know that.
Damn
Like
you,
I-
Michael Crichton.
Right.
I'm sure Sue has a plaque that says that, and Harry just didn't read it.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, but I'm saying, blaming Butcher here for not throwing out. Like I say, I get why everybody else, and John, that's fine. I don't care that movies like Jurassic Park, right? It sure sounds much cooler than Cretaceous Park or something, right? But it's just funny that you'd think here, where he had the means to correct, Anyways, Sue.
Anyway, they try to follow the GPS a little bit more with one more summoning circle, and they're like, it's in the wall.
Up, down, maybe, perhaps?
Right? I like how
What
he's
we
like,
need is a little bit of an elevation.
It's like how the shiny floor doesn't take the chalk either. I'm like, yeah, that would. How did you get it all? But unless it was like dirty enough, that right? Because I was like, absolutely. When you've got like a shiny tile, there's no way that fucking chalk is going on. You'd be so
Literally, do it on the carpet, bro.
I just go stand on the welcome mat and draw like this little tiny circle just around Butters.
He's actually
He's right, Brendan. That would work. I mean, fair. It can't even be that bad because I remember like working at like as a cashier and stuff like that, and those fucking mats would just be like so like wintry days or rainy days. So many people coming in and out. Those mats got soaked so fast. I was like, thankfully the museum's been closed for several. You guys are the only ones here throughout the rain.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm
then
sure
when
you
it
could still...
started getting to be more like March, and it's still kind of shitty outside, but it's like so much salt, and then the salt that just dries on those mats.
Track all that into, yeah.
And then you just have like a fucking cement mat now sitting in the...
Yeah.
They figure out, yes, up, and then there's a gallery, so they go up and find Sue's actual proper skull, and so Harry inspects it, finds an envelope taped to the bottom of the platform.
Hey, credit where credit's due. Harry also used Wizard Sight to make sure they were alone, okay? He is trying to do his job.
That's true. After being followed all day, now...
Fucking Morgan called me on it, so I may as well do it now.
Right.
And Cowell
Morgan called me on it. Cowell confirmed it. Fuck, I guess I'll look.
What is that? Check twice, measure once?
yeah, right.
But they do, in fact, find the Word of Kemmler.
Yeah. Like a little diary. It's not too big, not too small. And then Butters is all like, that's kind of fun. Let's do it again.
And just like, seriously, like the most popular display exhibit in the entire place is where you're going to hide your diary.
Yeah, but it's the crushed skull thing.
I mean, yeah, he didn't hide it on Sue. He did it underneath the... I mean, I guess, whatever. Probably at this point, maybe just an easy place for him to remember. Like, okay, it's right under Sue's skull.
And maybe it was less populated because people didn't want to walk upstairs.
Right, who knows? Maybe that was maybe his connection there for his estates.
You're like... Tanzin's belief in people is
prank
on the floor, literally.
Nobody's gonna do.
No one's going through a museum and walking up to the second floor to look at 4 things at the museum.
It's like I
got your back, Butcher. I got your back.
90% of people are just here for Sue.
Floor 1,
Bill.
admission,
That's it.
offices, and Sue, and that's it. They're done after that.
Buffalo Bill.
They go check out a crime scene and they go out.
Right.
Funny.
Oh, frick.
What do they do after they find this diary?
Butcher didn't even have time to research, like, Cretaceous versus Jurassic, okay? He didn't have time to go through and find out everything that's in that fucking museum, okay? He went, Sue skull, done.
In certain parts only.
He calls up reception. He's like, okay, what can you see from there?
Yeah, right.
Name 3 things. Okay, thanks.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, perfect.
So then, oh no.
Wait,
they ruined
did I hear something?
bad stuff. I feel necrotic energy in the area.
But he pulls back real quick so that maybe the necrotic energy doesn't feel him. He tells Butters to run away. Run away
Which
now.
is so scary. After all this, you'll be better off with me. Run.
Yeah. No, fucker. Come with me. No.
Can't I just make the little circle and stand here?
Yeah. Get out. Run. Get out of here and don't stop until you're someplace safe. Don't look back. Don't slow down.
Feel so bad for Butters. Like,
yeah, you know what? They're gonna know he's here because he just left a huge puddle on the floor.
but it's the same thing like destroying the car out in the parking lot. It's not like they're necessarily amateurs here. If they really want to get you, they'll get you. If they really want to like fucking surround your apartment with thousands and thousands of zombies, they'll surround your apartment with thousands and thousands of zombies.
Literally parked at the front door.
Like,
they know where your car is,
exactly.
Harry.
Like,
Which makes the question.
It's all those calls, though, earlier when he was like, okay, I think our best bet is to make a run for the vehicle. And I'm like, seriously? That's seriously what you think your best bet is? You think your best bet right now is to have Butters run for it without you? Where is the thinking right now?
That hasn't worked out yet in this book. Are you sure you still want to go with that plan? But that's the thing, too, because...
Harry still has trauma brain. It's fine.
Right.
He's been concussed 7 times in this day.
Right, so, okay. But yeah, I mean, Butters makes a really good point. Like, they did think to disable Butters' car the first time. Why the fuck didn't they rip out Harry's car when they wanted to go out there? Why didn't they rip Harry's car apart here when he's parked out in front? I mean, again,
when
there's even less people here than there were at the morgue.
Infinite zombies. There is no wasted energy.
Right?
It's not like, okay, the first time I thought was necessary. I didn't realize he was going to have a second getaway car, but the second time is like, oh, I can't be ripping up cars You've got infinite power right now. You might as well be ripping up every car on the street just in case.
And you don't need zombies to do that. Regular humans disable each other's cars all the time. There's a lot of ways you can do it without a lot of manpower and, you know what I mean? This is an old Beetle. I'm sure it doesn't have a fancy lock on it like all our gas tanks now. You can pour a little sugar in his gas tank. You can...
Just villains of Chicago running around with boots on.
Slight
tire boot things, that's what they're called, right?
Yes. But the vehicle boot just needs to specify because I'm sure there are indeed a lot of villains running around with boots on. It's very practical footwear for that kind of... Our little neo-Nazis with their...
So sure enough, Grevane's here. Hey, bro. Long time no see. I don't know if you remember trying to kill me this morning.
But wait, Harry has inspiration. And Grevane's only shown up with like half a dozen zombies. Okay. There's just like... And yeah. And
so mindful, so demure.
Okay, you know what? Corpse Taker killed a whole bunch of them early. I'm just going to save the rest of them for later. I'm sure 6 will be more than enough to take care of Harry at this point. Even though really there was like 3 or 4. There was Harry and Butters and Thomas and the dog at his apartment. You don't know that they're not all still together, and you're just trusting 6 zombies?
So, what are you going to do when you've got Grevane and 6 zombies slowly hurtling towards you?
really speed read and then threaten.
Yeah, lit book.
You're not going to give in to any temptation to use anything you didn't want to use mere moments ago.
I think we all know what he's doing here right now, okay, right? I don't think it's spoilers to say what he is trying to do.
I haven't read that far.
Really?
Nope.
You don't know what he's doing?
I can probably guess, but I haven't read beyond the next chapter after
Okay,
this,
but do you think you could guess?
There was already one person that helped him with remembering a book, so...
Yeah.
How fast it took for him to be like, yep,
all right,
okay.
I need your help.
Like, instantaneously. I don't even think the stakes have changed that much from...
Honestly, I didn't think about that until you said it anyway.
Yeah. He literally left Sheila's apartment,
Sheila's, went to Radio
here.
Shack, went to Field Museum, and in that one trip, you're like,
well, fuck, now I'm
stakes are way worse than they were half an hour ago. Seriously, dude?
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to, but just in case, I will just ensure for myself that I haven't... I'm like, hey, you couldn't have done that. And I'm like, what happened the first time you flipped? Oh, yeah.
If Butters got shot right now, if the building was on fire and it wasn't his fault, if he was on the ground being strangled by a zombie,
the building was on fire.
Even that would make me feel that the stakes were higher. But all they've done is enter the museum. He's like, fuck it, nope. I'm not escaping this one. Go.
So you know what? For all we say that Harry's not self-aware or not, again, he's like, as soon as you give me a little, I'm gonna want more. There's no right. And yeah, he's like, see, this is what I was telling you about. Even as I am saying, no, I don't want it. I can't trust myself. I'm, got my fingers crossed behind my back. Yeah. But anyways, he tries.
The fact that he doesn't stash it again also annoys me because we had this problem all book where he is carrying everything on him. He's carrying the numbers on him. He's carrying the Kemmler, or the Earl King diary, whatever.
Well, yeah.
He's carrying it on him. Now he's not even going to stash this again. Like, bro, they're robbing you left, right, and center. They have your bob.
Well, maybe at that point he's like, why? He's like, at least this way I can maybe bargain with it by like saying I'm not going to give it to you. As opposed to like, if I hide it again, you're just going to kill me and then you're going to tear the museum apart. I
don't know that he's
know.
tracked Harry for the word here, though. I don't think Grevane knows why they're here other than the fact that Harry is here. So I think if he just stashed it back in the skull, Grevane could have torn it apart all he wanted. I still don't think he would have found it.
Maybe not, because we do know that Liver Spots stole the numbers. Maybe Grevane has figured it out, and maybe Grevane maybe that's why he's here.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe they have figured out the latitude, longitude. I will give you that one.
Right, so yeah, we don't know whether he followed him or whether he just showed up on his own because, again, right, he's like, everyone might figure it out, but now we all have it and all an equal chance to figure it out, right? So... Because, yeah, Grevane doesn't give any other
I'll allow that one.
Yeah. So chances are, yeah, he knows the book is here or whatever. But, again, it's supposed to be the whole, right, Because he does come upstairs pretty quick, right? And Harry has only had a couple. It says it took him like less than 2 minutes, but basically as soon as he's done flipping through this, they come up. So again, if he wanted to take a chance to speed read this book, he didn't have time to stash it again. And if he'd stashed it, he wouldn't have had time to like speed read it. And then if they still got it, then he still would have been hooped, right? So, you know, it's just the risk he had to take, man. But you're right. He's like, I've got the book. Neener.
For the 4th time today.
And oddly, that doesn't work for him.
You fucking idiot.
It works for 30 seconds where Grevane goes, oh my God, you wouldn't. He goes, I was like, what?
Now, if you could just back up a little bit more. Yeah, stand on the X. Perfect.
Perfect. Right
Woof.
there.
Covered in snakes. Ooh, we've been here before.
Yeah.
I'm not even afraid of snakes, but I like a blanket of snakes.
Yeah, so I was just going to say,
Fuck
I
that.
don't mind snakes. Again, the non-poisonous, venomous kind. I don't mind like
Yeah.
little garter snakes. Or
Holding one snake, no issue.
Yeah,
Sitting in a pit of snakes, big issue.
big issue.
Is it always got to be snakes?
Right, especially, when they are dropping on you and they are biting you. That, especially when he's like, I just started ripping them out. I'm like, that part to me, again, it's just, I don't like.
And I doubt Butters is even out yet. All he hears is Harry just start screaming. And like,
Right, like, I don't know, because you said there was an exit on the other
for a
side of the
fire
gallery
exit,
or
like-
something, but yeah.
Butters isn't that fast.
Well, museums can be large-ish enough. It's
Little
right,
bit
like you said, to get to
labyrinthy.
the other side of a gallery could be a decent. That
I mean, they're purposely built maze-like, so you get through every exhibit.
That's right. Yeah,
The Field Museum, I imagine, is a little bit more open than a typical museum.
but the Tyrrell was very much like that. Once
Yes.
you started in, there was one way out. It was
even the
It's like
fucking
an IKEA.
the
Yeah.
New York one, the National.
the Museum of Natural History.
Yes, thank you. I mean, like, it's got open parts, but it also has very much, this is the start of this end, and now wind your way through to the end.
Right. You can
It's not like a
occasionally
prison. You can,
shortcut out.
there's shortcuts. You like go back to an elevator and, go back to go. But still, like most museums are like that. Basically, every museum I've ever been to, exactly. They're, one exhibit after another after exhibit, so you get to see it all.
Well, and that is right. If you're there to do it, it might as well just lead you through into, it probably makes it easier to know if you've seen everything. Be like, wait, did we go in this room? Wait, did we go? We cut in this one 3 times. Where's the... But yeah, exactly. The whole point is you want to see everything. Start at the beginning and walk through and see everything.
Yeah, so.
So yes, point is, yeah.
Butters definitely heard that.
Yeah. It's fine, Butters. It's fine. Don't stop. Don't look back. Don't even blink.
Don't scare me.
Fantastic. Yeah, just the whole thing. They're tearing at him and he's ripping them off out of his... I don't like those descriptors.
And another boot to the head.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know you. I know who you are now.
And you know what? Like, you talked about Harry and you've talked about Kathy, right? Which is funny because my coworker just, started reading the first book. Jessica's like, I feel sorry for her. But she's said this a lot, too, that Kathy Riggs ends up with, gazillion concussions in her books. It's like... The sad read is that my neighbor is actually literally experiencing this. He's probably, I think he said he's retiring sort of more officially next month because he literally his frontal lobe is dying because he suffered too many concussions and things in his life that his brain is literally getting wonky and shutting down. I'm like,
That's depressing.
Depressing and not, it's
story.
it's damn, jeez. So concussions aren't funny, people. Harry, you got to start wearing a helmet. I don't care if you don't like hats. You just now have to go around in a football helmet at all times. Oi.
Okay, who is Liver Spots?
Snake Boy. Gee, where were we recently reminded of him? Just in case we weren't thinking about it. I wonder if he ever made it to that payphone. Hey. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I was like, really? Huh. I definitely needed the next chapter to be like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess he didn't tell us here yet. Oh, yes, he did. It's Quintus Cassius Snake Boy.
He just tells him it's
I was
Snake
gonna
Boy,
say
but
this, but yes.
there's no
Yeah, it doesn't continue after that. I just saw him when we said payback, but yes, he did already identify them, yeah. So once again, the Louisville Slugger. And he's like, oh, you're who beat up my car. Oh, you get remember my ankles and my wrists and my knees and my back and my, Yeah, that was Harry being a little bit, nasty. And he's already manacled him somehow and stopped him from moving. Oh, and this is the thing, Grevane is all just give me the book. I won't kill you. And then as soon as he's distracted and Liver Spots have him, he's like, so our deal is good. He's like, oh yeah, kill him. I'm like, you dirty little liar. You were not going to let him go if he gave you the book. Just rude. No honor among thieves.
Huh?
When Harry first holds up the book and he's like, don't come any closer or I'll burn the book. And Grevane is all like, whatever. And he's like, Grevane is just like, you wouldn't dare. And Harry's like, I read it. And Gravane's like, give me the book. I'll let you live. And then the second that Liver Spots jumps
But he
in,
already had a pre-existing contract.
he already had this
with
pre-existing contract. Yeah, so it's like, as soon as he's done.
And he didn't technically give it to him. It was just taken from him. So Harry didn't follow through either on the letter of the law.
Well, they had no. Harry wasn't telling him, but I just meant that he gave him like a false. He wasn't dealing in good faith right from the start. He had no intention of letting him live. He has already made plans for him to die. But yeah, it's kind of nice. In my day, we would say that revenge is sweet. But times have changed. How do you say? Payback's a bitch.
This concludes our episode 13.27, Murphyonic Mayhem. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There you have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.